What's up guys? Today installation video on this EVH D-Tuna. So I tried the tone pitch shifter, which did not work. It's a piece of garbage. Do not recommend it. I'll put the link in the description. You can watch that if you're interested in it. If you are, don't buy it from Amazon because it's sold by all parts. It was 56 something and then it went to 58 something. They're making $20 over what you can actually just buy it from Vise if you wanted it. I didn't like it at all, so I figured I'd give this one a shot and see if it's any better. Read a lot of reviews, watched a lot of videos. People don't seem to understand the concept of how to install these, and they can't get them to work the same as the Vise, which I clearly showed that you can get it to work. It's just changed the feel of the whammy bar because I had to add heavier springs, and I figured, well, it should work, but who knows, maybe I'll send this one back too. This happens to be a Floyd Rose special. Read a lot of comments that it doesn't work on a Floyd Rose special. Yes, it does. Floyd Rose special is the same as the original and the 1000, except for the saddles, which is another video. The other thing I will mention is if you have a routed guitar body like I do, you're gonna have to install a trem block. That's also in the video I did with the Vise. The other thing that you're going to take note is if we come down here to the 12th fret, I use 2 32nds and 3 32nds on the high and low E string. You can see my bridge is not, tilted down and recessed or anything. It's flush and above the body. With this D-Tuna, you have to have either a solid body or this raised up enough with a trem block that you can't pull backward on the whammy bar. It's just the way it is. So the first thing we're going to do is we are in tune, and we're going to come down here to this Allen screw on the locking nut, and we're going to unlock the low E and A string. After that's done, the low E string, this screw, and make sure you have the tension off of this because we're going to be removing this entire screw. This does come with a nice plastic case other than a plastic bag with 2 screws and the little thumb wheel on the Vise. This was 38 something. Amazon raised it now to 39 something, but it's a lot of money for 2 screws, a spring, and this little thing with the Allen wrench. At least they give you, a nice paper other than like Vise, they give you a piece of paper that it's printed. The instructions are basically a guideline. It doesn't really get into it, and all the videos I watched, I find them useful at all, so I figured I'd do one, give you some better shots. So again, we're going to come down here, going to unloosen that. We're going to take the tension off the low E string, and we're going to remove this screw. In the instructions, it says to use the longer screw if your saddle is back towards the pickup further. Mine's not. Mine's pretty far away, so I'll be using the shorter screw. All right, so once you have that locking screw down at the nut loosened and you have the tension off, you're going to back your fine adjuster out all the way like so. Then we're going to take our Allen screw and we're just going to go ahead, and I'm not going to be able to do this on camera because I got to push down on the whammy bar forward to tilt the bridge up so I can get that screw out. Okay, so if your string pops out, there's a little brass, or not brass, but this is a steel block that just has this screw pinching up against it, and as you tighten it, it keeps your string in. Just if yours comes out, mine didn't, just push it back in later on. The other thing I'll show you here is, you see them springs right here? That's where your bolt is going to go through there. So you can see where that's pushing down. So once you get your bolt out, this is the shorter of the two. You're going to simply take your spring, you're going to push that on like so, and then you're going to slip that in. Now, if by chance yours doesn't slip in like that, the little set screw, this is the Allen wrench that fits in here. So if yours doesn't go through, just back it out ever so slightly. Be careful not to lose it. That's what adjusts your fine tuning for your E. And you can see how this is just machined on the back side there, and how it fits, and how that fits there. So as you can see, that whole assembly just slides in the exact same way. And then you take your 3mm Allen screw and tighten that string back up. Don't go over tightening them. The same with these screws here for intonation. They don't need to be snugged down. I saw a lot of people mushroom them over, and the reason that happens is because they're over tightening them. Even with, you know, the good saddles that, you know, are on the originals and the 1000 opposed to this Floyd Rose Special, you could still mushroom that steel or put marks in it. There's no reason to fucking tighten them down like you're a gorilla. All right, so once you have this screw tightened up, again, don't go over tightening it. There's no need to. All you're doing is cinching this block up against that string. You can see mine pulls back and then it goes in. What you want to do next is make sure it's in the out position like so. And then we're going to tune up to the D note. So you want to be in the playing position when you tune this. And you can see we're in tune right there. We're going to go ahead and we're going to lock down the nut right there. Again, you don't need to cinch these down like your Hercules. And after you cinch that down, you want to be in the playing position and recheck your tuning. So you can see I am a little flat there, so we'll just come over to the fine adjuster and we're going to screw that down until it touches that screw right there, just like it normally does. And we're just going to go ahead and bring that up to pitch, playing position, and we are in tune. So all your other strings should be in tune as well. We'll go through them. Now the next thing you're going to go ahead and do is just push down and push that in. If you see that slant there, you should see when you're pushed in, that should be touching the whale tail of your bridge underside. So in playing position again, you're going to pick that low E string, and you can see we're way flat. So one thing I'll note is after I tighten that grub screw, which makes perfect sense, you're actually tightening the set screw onto that bolt. And when I'm going to pull this out, you know, it's not too easy. Out, as you can see, and you got to make sure you're completely out in order for the fine-tune adjuster to work on fine-tuning when you're in D. So looking at this a little closer, I was thinking maybe what I'll do is take this little set screw, and there's some sharp edges right here, and you can see where it's in contact with the bolt, and this thing has that hole in it right there. So as you're going back and forth, that set screw is creating a friction point right here. Alright, so hopefully you can see how that set screw is not completely smooth. There's some roughness to it, and I'm trying to get it the best I could, but we're just going to take the Allen key, put that in there, and we're going to lightly glide it along the file and try and smooth that out, because you can clearly see here where that creates a friction point, and it's digging in just to one spot. Alright, so you can see all I did was just run that little tip across the file gently, just to kind of even it out and smooth it out. Hopefully the camera's picking it up. I didn't take much off, just smoothed it up, and that should allow for a better movement across the bolt here. So I'm still having troubles with this even though I did that, and you can see where it's kind of binding up. So it's the fork right here. If we look at it this way, what's happening is when it's in the E position, this and this side is rubbing, and it's creating a friction point right there. So I'm going to take just a little bit of material here and here off. You can see there's just a hair of black on this side. This side doesn't have too much, but it's more this side, so it's binding there. That's the problem. So as you can see, all I did is take that file, and I just ever so slightly, hopefully the camera's picking it up, took some material right off of there and on that side there. So if we slide the bolt in now, you can see this moves a little freer because it has more of a tolerance from the up to down position. Another thing you can see here is the tighter you put that screw in, it angles downward, and when you loosen that up, it becomes lower. Anyway, that's how that works to adjust your E. The other thing I'm going to note, being this fine tuner's backed all the way out, I suggest to at least, when this is bumped out all the way, turn it in that it touches the screw. Just give it maybe not even an eighth of a turn, but put some downward pressure on this so it's on the screw, so it's not free floating. And then adjust this set screw for your E just so it is flush, or maybe just a little countersunk down in those threads with the body of this piece. You can see that clearly moves freely. Then do your tuning on your guitar. You see we're a little flat. All we'll do is increase at the tuning head with that nut unlocked, and we're right on there. And a easier way to fine tune your E, just pull that out to D and then do a quarter turn and then push down and push in. It's a lot easier. And push down and pull out, and you can see mine's were already working a lot better after doing what I just did there. So the guy with the sandpaper sanding the bolt, and the other person that said about using the oil, that's all bullshit. It doesn't work. You got binding points is what's happening. So you can see we're right in tune on the E, and then if we push down here and pull out, you can see it works nice. So we're at C sharp there, so we're gonna have to adjust the fine tuner. This is why I said put that down next to the bolt. And again, make sure you heard that pop there. Make sure that's out and it's up, or you're not gonna get the right tuning. All right, so to recap, and I got this in tune now. You're gonna back your low E all the way out, and then with this part pulled all the way out, like so. You just make sure that's sitting flush across here, and then you're going to tune the D. And then when you come back over, just push it in, make sure it's seated. I didn't even have to push down much, but push down, push in, and then we'll come back over. And you can see that's just about E. And you're gonna go back and forth with that, and then you'll probably do some fine tuning after you lock the nut. All right, so I locked my nut down, and right now I am in E. And you can see that. And then if we just push down and pull out, you can see how smooth that operates now. And we'll just pan back over. And if you're out of tune on D, you could just come over and turn your fine tuner in. And there you go. So everybody's video out there about filing and doing this and doing that, I just showed you exactly how to get this thing to operate smoothly. The only thing you got to do is remember, push down, push in, pull out. Nothing like tone vise. That thing is garbage. Stay the fuck away from it.